Hello everyone, I'm Scott Douglas here with the monthly PIO update for June. This month's update covers a hospital fire, a defensive house fire, a car fire that spread to a home, as well as other important news from the Oklahoma City Fire Department. In June, firefighters responded to a total of 8,121 emergency calls. While most emergency calls are medical in nature, we'd like to highlight a few other categories. 42 structure fires, 78 down power lines, 187 grass and trash fires, 609 vehicle accidents, and 6 reported drownings. Unfortunately, 4 of the drowning incidents resulted in fatalities, but 1 did have a different outcome. On June 27th, bystanders rescued 2 children from a busy public swimming pool. Initially, 1 child responded immediately, while the other was still unresponsive. Thankfully, bystanders performed CPR and successfully revived the child. Upon the fire department's arrival, both children were responsive and breathing. This incident emphasizes the critical importance of CPR knowledge and swift action in emergencies. Enroll in hands-only CPR training with the Oklahoma City Fire Department to gain life-saving skills from experienced professionals. This training equips participants to respond effectively during cardiac emergencies, simplifying CPR for those without extensive medical training. Beyond personal empowerment, this training fosters a community where everyone is prepared to save lives during critical moments, making it a commitment to become a community lifesaver. For more information, please contact our Oklahoma City Fire Department Community Risk Reduction Office. Let's review the findings from our fire investigation team. In June, fire investigators examined 13 fires. 4 met the elements of arson, with 1 case referred to the district attorney's office. The cause of 7 fires still remains undetermined. 2 fires were deemed accidental. 1 resulted from an overheated extension cord igniting nearby materials, while the other stemmed from unattended cooking. Unattended cooking continues to be a leading cause of structure fires, emphasizing the importance of keeping an eye on what you fry. Now let's spotlight a few notable calls from the month of June. In this update, you're going to hear directly from the incident commanders who manage these scenes.
On June 6th, Engine 10 and Ladder 6 got called to a smoke investigation at St. Anthony's Hospital. Engine 1 and 601, which I was on, responded with them. Engine 1 seen smoke and advised dispatch that we needed a commercial alarm. When we arrived on scene, we had heavy smoke coming from the roof line of St. Anthony's. We started out with a commercial alarm and eventually upgraded it to a high-rise alarm. There was a report of a fire on the 3rd floor, the 5th floor, and then the kitchen. It came from a cooking fire, basically, food on the stove that caught the grease in the vent on fire. They had to cut a hole in the vent pipe and spray water up in there just to ensure that it was completely out. There was 85 total firefighters. There was 12 engines, 5 ladders, 4 battalion chiefs. Then you have the shift commander, 721, 751, and Air 1.
I'm Major Josh Rochester. I was the incident commander for a structure fire that took place on June 11th, approximately 5 p.m. in the afternoon in the proximity of 32nd and Blackwelder. Initial calls stated that heavily involved fire there, multiple calls. When we arrived on scene, there was heavy fire and flame coming from not only the roof, but all sides of the structure. Crews on scene kind of utilized it as a defensive fire due to the master streams and the heavy fire involvement. We tried to keep a safe perimeter around the structure for our safety and the citizens. Unfortunately, in this instance, there was so much fire damage that the home was not stable enough for crews ever to enter the structure. There were several bystanders that had been working in the home previously and said that it was under renovation. That was also confirmed by the homeowner. No injuries on scene for civilians nor firefighters.
My name is Paul Davis. I was acting chief on an incident in the 9400 block of Russell Drive on June 21st. The call came in from a neighbor. They had people working outside that called it in. They did not know if anybody was inside the structure. When our initial crews arrived on scene, they noted a heavy amount of fire in the Alpha Bravo corner of the structure. As they removed the garage door, found that it had already extended into both the house and into the attic, so both areas were already exposed. When I arrived there, I had 2 attack lines that were in. There was fire that was hidden in the structure. I was seeing active fire from where it had self-vented through the roof, but I had no fire coming out of the lower parts of the structure. So we knew that it had moved from the garage and living quarters into the attic space at that point. It did seem as though the fire began in the car, and at the point that the garage couldn't take it anymore, the attic access door, which was immediately above the car, opened, and that's what allowed the fire to go into the attic. No injuries to firefighters or civilians. Everyone was out. It was an unfortunate event for the homeowners as they had been living there for a week.
Thank you, Major Shook, Major Rochester, and Major Davis for joining us for this month's update. The Oklahoma City Fire Department is pleased to introduce our new supplementary transport service in collaboration with Oklahoma City's primary transport agency, IMSA. The first ambulance began operations in early June, followed by a second ambulance a week later. We plan on having a total of 4 ambulances operational across Oklahoma City. During June, our ambulances responded to 879 calls and transported 495 patients. If you're a paramedic looking to join our team, please visit our Facebook page for details on 3 upcoming hiring events scheduled for July. I now want to invite Deputy Chief Mike Walker to explain our recently launched Mobile Integrated Health Unit.
The point of the Mobile Integrated Healthcare Unit is to improve the quality of life for the people who utilize our services that don't fit within the traditional 911 responses, whether that be law enforcement, EMS, or a rescue. It could either be behavioral health, an addiction problem, or other quality of life issues that are necessitating someone to frequently use 911. Just like for most of the EMS calls we go on, we're the first response there, but we're providing care long enough to bridge over to EMS transport. And then EMS transport takes them the rest of the way into the hospital. This will be similar to that, but instead of helping IMSA, it's primarily going to be helping Oklahoma City Police Department. So if it's a behavioral health call, someone's in crisis, police department right now, they're having to deal with this, and they can request a crisis response team or a crisis team from one of the 3, there's 4 county-wide response teams that come, but they don't like taking the higher acuity calls. So the crisis response team that we're in the process of hiring will co-respond with Oklahoma City Police Department to assist with those types of calls. So the crisis response team will be made up of a mobile integrated healthcare paramedic, and they'll also have a behavioral health specialist. And why we're putting a paramedic with the behavioral health specialist is we're going to break down that silo of EMS versus behavioral health, because there's also times that those intermingle. All right, the person is stating that they're having difficulty breathing. Well, is it because they're having a panic attack, or is there something behavioral health-wise that's going on? Also, someone could be acting strange, so that leads the caller or the person who's reaching out to think that it's more of a behavioral health call. Well, what if it's because their blood sugar's low or high or something along that line? So by combining an advanced medical component along with the behavioral health, we think that we can provide a better service to our residents.
The City of Oklahoma City is intensifying efforts to improve community safety through expanded use of Oklahoma City Police Department helicopters. In addition to water drops, personnel are training for short-haul rescues. This involves Oklahoma City Police Department helicopters, pilots, and the Oklahoma City Fire Department crew chiefs and rescuers using a 50 to 100-foot line to transport rescuers to stranded individuals and safely bring them back to a secure location. Oklahoma City and Tulsa firefighters united to create an Oklahoma task force team deploying to Texas to support swift water operations amid extensive flooding. The decision was made to retain resources in both cities to handle local emergencies, which proved to be wise as Oklahoma City faced flooding and firefighters conducted 7 water rescues on June 4th. We have 2 upcoming events to share with you. Applications are now being accepted for the Residence Fire Academy, scheduled for this fall, and our annual Project Life Run will take place on August 3rd. Links to both events can be found on our social media channels. For real-time updates, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Additionally, we release monthly videos on our YouTube channel. Until next month, stay safe, OKC, and remember, we are here if you need us.